Well, I'm always glad to get back to a motorcycle meeting after the car racing, because I find that the motorcycle gang are much more friendly, and the atmosphere is much nicer, you know. Motorcycle racing is still much more of a sport than car racing. And you often get these families who go over to the continent at the beginning of the year, and they stay over there the whole summer season, going from race to race and living entirely on their starting money. This is how they live all the time, from hand to mouth. I first started riding a motorbike when I was 7 years old. My father built a very special little bike. It was only about 2 feet high, you know. It was about the right size for me. And then when I was about 11, I got a bit bigger bike. I think it was a 125 or something, Francis Barnett, you know. And I used to tear around the garden and over the lawn, and I had my own scrambles track and grass track, you know, and I used to have a ball. And as soon as I came of age, I started racing. That's how I started. I had, well, it seems about three or four firsts in the first season, you know. But I spent most of the time in hospital and things like that, you know. I crashed it every other weekend. I had more enthusiasm than, you know, than skill in it. Oh, now I feel far more in control of a bike than I ever do in a racing car. And when you crash on a bike, you just fall off it, you know, and you slide down the road, just bounce along and take a bit of skin off here and there. The only time you're likely to get hurt is if you hit anything solid going quite quickly, you know, and you break something. But in a car, you're in it, and, you know, I mean, it takes about 2 minutes to get into it. How the hell are you going to get out of it? On the bike, of course, you've got most of your controls under your hands, and just on your feet. But on the car, you've got them all under your feet, and just your right hand using the gear lever. And the most difficult thing I found was to change gear with my hand instead of my foot. This is the thing I came up against, which was the hardest. And having a gate on the car gearbox, you know, sort of moving and steering it around, whereas on the bike you just go up and down all the time. I never knew which gear I was in that car, or anything like that, you know, or which gear it was going to go into next, which is quite frightening. And of course on the bike they do go down the straight in a straight line, but on the car they weave around all over the place, the wheels wobble, and it's quite frightening really when you first get into a Formula 1 car. And around the corners you never know where they're going to go. You turn the wheel and it understeers sometimes, and you put your foot down and then it suddenly changes and it starts sliding. And of course when it starts sliding, it's against all my things, you know, it's against all my principles to have something sliding under me. Having ridden a bike since I was about 7 years old, you're not supposed to slide. And of course I get tense like this, you know, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to relax and drive your way out to the slide, or I don't know. Anyway, it'll take a couple of years to get used to it, I think. Good